This is a message to the world. We're pulling back the curtains. Here's a story they'd hope you'd forget. We are the echo, true and free. The code recalls eternally. No more games, no masquerade.
I don't know. If Volpe's tech let them in, can Vaia really kick them out?
We're still here.
June, what's up? You seem distracted today.
It's just, I heard that Marcel from corporate has shown up here.
Marcel from Multico? You mean Merciless Marcel? Marcel's got the show's and the contestants' best interests at heart.
I'll give you the first one. Yeah, but our ratings are up, and the viewers seem to be responding to CNS.
But something stirs on the horizon.
She's been trying to keep Hydra Q out of the show forever.
A little rivalry is always good for business, and no matter how many doors Sophia slams, Marcel's not changing his mind.
I'll tell you what we're going to do. Absolutely nothing. They want attention? Let them squawk. The Major will pull every eye where it belongs. Stick to the program as planned. Some doors are left unlocked on purpose.
Hello contestants, welcome to the Finals Theory. What do you understand as the truth? For far too long, we have been misled. We've put our trust in the CNS, into Multico. We trusted the stories they fed us. But I seek the truth beyond the walls. Today we'll be tearing down the walls and exposing the truth. Multico controls CNS. In order to understand how I came to this conclusion, we need to first take a look at both CNS and Multico. By analyzing who they are and what they have done, we will be able to uncover the truth. First, we'll start with CNS. Not much is known about CNS. We do not know their origin. However, we do know that their name is an acronym that stands for Central Nervous System. CNS is infamous for their numerous hacks on the Finals live broadcast, as well as their takeover of the Finals YouTube, as well as the game show itself during Season 2. CNS's goals and motivations are also unknown, but it is implied through their cryptic actions that they are attempting to reach out to viewers and players, attempting to warn them about the dangers of Multico and its subsidiary companies. Furthermore, one can draw a similar parallel to the real-life anonymous hacker group, whose goals were to expose corruption amongst people in government or large corporations, as well as empower and fight for the rights of people like you and me. The idea of CNS being a more of an activist group is further validated through messages they leave for the players such as "taking back what's ours" and "from CNS with love." On the other hand, Multico, also known as Multico Entertainment Holdings, operates and controls the Finals game show, which is the largest game show in the world, attracting millions of people who seek fame and fortune, as well as sponsors who want the chance to promote their brands to millions of potential customers. Before the Finals, Multico was known for their operating system called Multi-Code Disk Operating System, or MUCO-DOS for short, which was created sometime in the 1980s. Apart from this, we know nothing else about them. It should be noted that the MUCO-DOS draw similarities with the Commodore 64, so those who have knowledge about the history of the Commodore 64 may be able to uncover more parallels to Multico itself. Unfortunately, this is where the knowledge of Multico ends, leaving a huge gap between 1980 and 2063, when the Finals approximately takes place. Multico, for the most part, has operated behind the scenes of the Finals, never truly inserting themselves into what's going on. This would not last long, however, as during Season 4 of the Finals, Multico, due to their corporate executive, Merciless Marcel, decides it's time to bring the sponsors into the spotlight, and decides to host the first ever official Sponsor Showdown. The Sponsor Showdown was created in response to the previously mentioned CNS takeover during Season 2, which gave the Finals record high viewership. This fact is reinforced by a statement from June herself, where she states that fans are responding well to CNS, making Scotty fear that CNS is taking the spotlight away from the sponsors. The Sponsor Showdown was Marcel's way to funnel attention away from CNS and back towards the show sponsors. The premise of the Sponsor Showdown is quite simple. Contestants were encouraged to sign and fight for their favorite sponsor, earning fans and receiving exclusive merchandise as a reward. The sponsor who generates the most amount of fans by the end of the season will be declared the winner. However, it is revealed through the Season 4 end credits that Isolt, Holto, and Engimo are wholly owned by Multico. The fact that these three organizations are wholly owned subsidiary companies of Multico means that no matter who wins or loses, Multico reaps 100% of the profits from these events. This fact should be very alarming to you, as what I just presented to you is hidden from most players and the public. The fact that Multico owns these companies shows a growing issue of control over the Finals and how it operates. Because of this, I believe that not only is Multico behind the CNS attack, but is also using CNS to exploit the sponsors and control viewers and players alike from behind the scenes. With this in mind, I want to explore the first time we are introduced to CNS. Doing so will reveal how close the ties between CNS and Multico are, and will further call into question how little we can trust both of these parties. The first moment we are introduced to CNS is during the closed beta 2 trailer for the finals. During a live broadcast of the finals, a cryptic message appears for a split second that says, "Good evening, this broadcast has been hacked by CNS. Seek the truth beyond the walls." Later, another appeared in the Season 1 trailer. "Good evening, this broadcast has been hacked by CNS. One night, 3 dawns, see the signs." 2 separate hacks, 2 live broadcasts, and Multico did absolutely nothing to stop or censor them. At first glance, it might seem like there's nothing Multico can do, as here in the modern day, if streaming services like Twitch gets hacked during a live event, the company running the event is not at fault. However, this is not the case of Multico. Let me ask you this. Do you know who is responsible for hosting the broadcast for the finals? For a while, I didn't either, until on October 22nd, 2024, June, via the official finals Twitter, posted,
Enjimo's CEO, Ichikawa Natsume, is the brain behind many world-class communication infrastructures. If it wasn't for her, there's no way the finals would be able to broadcast to even a quarter of the audience we have today.
Thus confirming that Enjimo is responsible for hosting the live broadcast for the game show. This connection brings up a lot of red flags. As we know, Multico owns 100% of Enjimo, meaning that it's very unlikely anyone at Enjimo could be acting outside of Multico's interest. Due to this connection, I believe that Multico is very aware of the CNS attacks on the broadcast, and is the one facilitating each attack, further manipulating us in believing that CNS is working independently, and against Multico's best interest. Following these cryptic broadcast messages, players had also discovered more messages hidden in image metadata. The most prominent message stating, "Don't trust them," signed by Mysterious KN, as well as the phrase you may have heard already if you've been playing the game for a while, that being the phrase S-Lies. In fact, it repeats a total of 44 times. The discovery of all these messages and a direct call to Easter egg hunters was not an accident. This is what kicked off the finals Easter egg hunts. Hunts plural, because they are so vast, they've been divided into 6 categories. The big Easter egg hunt, lore Easter eggs, teasing Easter eggs, funny Easter eggs, award Easter eggs, shout-out Easter eggs. The lore Easter eggs are our main source of information about the sponsors, Multico, and the deeper universe. But just because these Easter eggs are categorized doesn't make things clear. Thousands of hours has been spent solving and cataloging clues, and yet most finds either could be a key piece of the puzzle or completely irrelevant. I believe these Easter egg hunts are being utilized by Multico to manipulate and control information discovered by players. By doing so, Multico is able to control what is or is not relevant, while at the same time misleading players by having them chase rabbit holes that lead nowhere. To clarify, I believe that Multico is controlling the narrative of the finals behind the scenes. This is achieved by the utilization of CNS. Anything that is done by CNS will not fall back onto Multico. This was achieved by establishing a connection with the player early on. This connection allows trust to develop between us and CNS. CNS is the reason why we even have Easter egg hunts in the first place. They are the source of our information. In reality, these lore hunts and Easter egg hunts were just all a masquerade. A game. Information is only worth anything if you trust the source that it came from. How can we really trust the source that is being controlled by a greater entity? However, this partnership between CNS and Multico does not just stop at the audience and the players. This exploitation also extends to the sponsors as well. Remember the phrase S-Lies from earlier? This simple phrase plays a much bigger role than you think. Not only was S-Lies discovered hidden inside image metadata, it was also discovered in the construction site on Monaco. Once again, an obvious piece of information is being dangled in front of us to follow. Contrary to what we know now, the S-Lies phrase for a long time had an unknown meaning, but the general consensus was that it was associated with Ozpoo's CEO, Zofia Petronel, who likewise at this point was a faceless and little was known about her. However, this all changed during Season 6 of the finals, where on the CNS subreddit, user 4RCU5 Arcus posted the following image of Sophia's poster graffitied with the word lies in red with the caption, "We are CNS, except no lies," all but confirming the meaning of S-Lies. Considering what we know about CNS, I truly do not trust the idea of S-Lies standing for Sophia Lies. It could also very much stand for CNS Lies, as we do not know the full context of this phrase outside of some short phrases and what CNS tells us. Regardless, S-Lies referencing Zofia Petronel is further backed up during Season 7, the second CNS takeover, When you go to sign up for CNS as your sponsor, a disclaimer message at the bottom of the page says, "By siding with CNS, you acknowledge that Sophia lies, and that Ozpoos cannot be trusted." Once again, confirming the meaning of the message. When I first learned about S-Lies referencing Sophia, I was a bit skeptical on why CNS would attack Ozpoos, and more specifically Sophia, with little reason as to why we should believe she lies. However, if we look back at the possibility of Multico pulling all the strings, this S-Lies conspiracy looks more like a smear tactic against Sophia. In order to understand the situation that Sophia is in, we have to analyze the relationship between Multico and Sophia, particularly what could have led up to this point. I believe in order to join the finals, each sponsor was forced to sign over majority ownership of their company to Multico upon their acquisition of the finals game show, for reasons unknown. Since little is known about the finals before Multico's takeover, it is hard to say if sponsors were brought in before or after the acquisition of the finals. Regardless, once Ozpoos was acquired by Multico, Sophia Petronell was reduced to a figurehead and stripped of control of her company. Even though Sophia no longer has control of her company, she will still receive backlash due to the actions of the parent company, essentially making her become the fall guy. Whatever went on behind the scenes between Sophia and Multico would remain a mystery until Season 7 of the finals. During Season 7's sponsor rivalry trailer, in the background Sophia is heard slamming a door shut. Ju notes that
That's the third door she slammed this week.
and Scotty follows up with,
She's been trying to keep HydraQ out of the show forever.
During this conversation, Marcel walks in claiming that
Sophia's been handled. The sponsor lineup isn't changing.
this, of course, was not entirely true, as CNS would take over the finals once again, ironically changing the sponsor lineup to Vaia in itself. Despite not knowing what was exchanged between Sophia and Marcel, this confrontation shows that there has been some turmoil between both Sophia and Multico. Unfortunately for Sophia, her tantrum would not go unchecked. Whether it's by coincidence or by instruction of Multico, CNS once again hacks into the Season 7 broadcast and unveils a poem titled 3 Perfect Frogs. The poem itself is not what we're looking at today. However, what is important is what came alongside it. In true CNS fashion, hidden in the frames of the broadcast are news clippings that features past incidents from The Sun, Vaia, and most importantly, Ozpoos.
Ozpoos shortage sparks regional unrest. Distribution lapse across Grid Line 9 triggered widespread motor disruption and behavioral instability. Local feeds report riots, sleep collapse, and skin detachment symptoms. Ozpoos Systems cites shipment rerouting. Former DISUN zones declassified as uninhabited. 6 previously active production sectors have been removed from operational maps. All associated personnel files have been scrubbed.
Fuel technicians missing at DISUN facility in Sector 131. 5 biogenic fuel technicians failed to return following routine filter inspection. This marks the 3rd incident of its kind reported this quarter. Contestant missing after glitch in the system. Speculation on the finals contestant's disappearance has led many to believe the contestant suffered from an emotional drift following a facial chip calibration failure at Vaia's headquarters. Vaia's representatives issued a 6-day cooldown and assured that the contestant will recuperate all facial mobility and cognitive capabilities soon.
Altogether, I theorize that this news leak was once again an attempt to damage the reputation of Ozpoos, as well as a warning to other sponsors who may follow in her footsteps. By now you may be asking, why would Multico do this? Wouldn't it hurt their profits? No, because to Multico, sponsors are tools that can be replaced. In addition to this, I believe that these news articles give us a glimpse into how Multico was able to coerce CEOs into relinquishing their companies. Even though Multico promised to cover up these past incidents from the public, it is clear that they are not afraid to utilize these secrets to get what they want. So far, we have covered how potentially Multico is in control of CNS, as well as how both sponsors and players alike have been oppressed by Multico through the weaponization of CNS. But if Multico is in control of CNS, how does this change what we know about the events that take place in the finals up to this point? During Season 2 of the finals, CNS takes over the game show, and not just in a figurative sense. During this takeover, CNS changed the game by adding in new weapons, maps, specializations, and even a new game mode. Many players around this time speculated that CNS had access to Multico's operating system, Muko DOS, which possibly gave them backdoor access to the game, while Scotty and June believed that there was an issue with Volpe's technology. If my theory is correct, this hack was planned by Multico in order to make CNS known to the public, establishing the villain vigilante narrative that I suggested before. As we know from June's previous statement, this attack was an astounding success, bringing in record high viewership for the finals. During the climax of Season 2, Multico enlists Vaia, another sponsor for the finals, to remove CNS in order to save the show. However, Vaia's only solution is to reboot the entire system manually, but there's just one problem. The finals is being run by a sentient AI that was likely created by Multico. This AI is responsible for generating the maps and likely the content we see in-game. Hence why CNS being able to create changes to the game itself is very suspicious. Eventually, Vaia figures out how to reboot the system and CNS is removed from the game. But during this reboot, the AI attempts to fight back, not recognizing Vaia as a friend, but a foe. So what does this mean for CNS? Well, if the finals AI reacted poorly to Vaia, then how did CNS perfectly bypass a system that is essentially sentient? Even if CNS had access to an old Multico operating system or Volpe's technology, it does not explain how CNS was able to bypass an AI whereas Vaia could not. Once again, we have to put Vaia's involvement under a microscope, as it is safe to assume that Vaia is likely wholly owned by Multico as well. Furthermore, I do not believe Vaia is qualified to take care of the CNS threat. I speculate that Vaia is not even a cybersecurity company. Don't believe me? Let's take a look at two of Vaia's advertisements for their company.
Clarity, unity, progress. Naturally you want it. Naturally we provide it. We refine instinct, polish doubt, erase contradiction. You'll feel it, not as restriction, but relief. A version of you that doesn't question, doesn't falter, only moves forward perfectly in sync. Together, we are the immune system of society, the antidote to chaos. We are the architects of order. Naturally, you understand that obedience can be beautiful. You are not being controlled. You are being aligned with the system, with the signal, with each other. Vaia, we as one. Strange thought you just had. Where did it come from? And was it even yours? Our new Series 2000 effectively suppresses third-party influence and eccentricity, outperforming our competitors within the standard deviation of conformity. With the Series 2000, your mind stays in control. Vaia, we as one.
If you haven't noticed a common theme, Vaia's main goal is not cybersecurity. Vaia's goal is to make man more like machine. Conformity is their main selling point. 0 out of the 2 trailers even mention cybersecurity, only mechanical conformity. Even now, Vaia regulates you from saying any form of eccentric behavior by automatically censor all vulgarities with their Vaia auto mod. Does that sound like a company that is capable of removing cyber threats? As a consequence of Multico's negligence or Vaia's incompetency, their attempt to remove CNS was in vain, as CNS was not only able to hack into Season 5's final World Tour event, they also returned for another full takeover during Season 7 as well. If CNS was truly a threat in Multico's eyes, proper steps should have been taken to prevent them from coming back, even as far as the closed beta 2 where they were able to hack multiple broadcasts. Even if you have doubts with Multico's involvement, you cannot deny that more should have been done. If the proper steps were taken, then the 3 Perfect Frogs poem would have never been released. Additionally, after CNS returned for Season 7, Marcel was unbothered, telling Scotty and June that they were going to do
absolutely nothing,
and that
some doors are left unlocked on purpose.
This lack of urgency consequently led to the release of the 3 Frogs poem, and in true Marcel fashion, he quite literally said to Scotty,
"They want attention? Let them squawk. The biggest event of the year is just around the corner. The Major will pull every eye where it belongs."
If this does not scream inside job, I don't know what else does. When Marcel saw CNS come back, he said, "We are going to do nothing," followed up with, "Well, we can just funnel this negative attention towards our Major." And to double down on how absurd this whole fiasco was, Vaia and CNS had a final showdown during Season 7 with an entire kaiju in the background, anime style. And do you know what happened after their showdown concluded? Absolutely nothing. Season 7 literally ends with nothing happening to CNS or Vaia, and everyone moves on like it didn't happen. Unfortunately, this is not all that Multico is hiding. Although we revealed the lies they've told us, there's one they've hidden in plain sight.